Hey everyone, it's Peter Schiff. It is Tuesday, March 9th, 2010. Well, earlier today I appeared on CNBC's Fast Money, and I've been doing that show quite a bit recently, and I agreed to regular appearances going forward on that show. So if you want to tune in, you can see me every Tuesday and Thursday on CNBC's Fast Money. The show airs between 5 and 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. out west. And I think they might repeat it later on. I'm not sure. You got to check your channel. But to the extent that I'm not committed because my schedule is kind of tight with the Senate campaign, but I'm going to try to keep that slot open if I can and do that show. So if you want to watch me live rather than waiting for somebody to post it on YouTube, try to tune in. Plus, I think it's good. I'd like to see if we can help boost the ratings of the show. I know a lot of people might tune in that don't normally watch it to see me, so that'd be good. And maybe the folks over at CNBC, if they see a big ratings boost associated with my regular appearances, that might cause them to want to have me on more often or have me on other shows as people start to see that the ideas that I have or that I represent are actually very popular, and people will tune in to watch their programs if they have guests like me on there, and maybe there are other people also that have a similar perspective. And to the extent that they see that there are a lot of viewers who want an Austrian perspective, that want a real free market advocate on their air, if they see that there's demand for it, they'll have more people on there. So again, don't forget to tune in CNBC Fast Money every Tuesday and Thursday to see what I have to say on that show. Also, in the news, I was reading a story today. It looks like there's a bill going through Congress. It's about $130 or $140 billion bill, which of course will simply add to the deficit. But the big part of that bill is to extend unemployment benefits through the end of the year. And I think now when people lose their jobs, instead of just collecting unemployment benefits for 20 weeks or so, I'm pretty sure you get 2 years now, or maybe more. And the way Congress is working, they're going to make, it seems like unemployment is a permanent condition now. That as long as you're unemployed, you can keep getting money from the government. And nobody in the government really, or not many people, have the guts to stand up to this because they don't want to seem heartless. They don't want to say that, we're not going to just keep extending unemployment benefits indefinitely. But there's two reasons why we can't do that. One is we're broke. We can't just keep running up the deficit to give out unemployment benefits to people. And number two, we have to understand the moral hazard associated with paying people not to work. Certainly there are some people who, are not turning down employment because they'd rather get unemployment. But there certainly are people who try to exhaust their unemployment benefits before they actually look for work. Because if you think about it, look at the marginal tax on someone who's unemployed who decides to get a job. Not only does he have to pay the taxes on the money he earns at his job, but he loses all of his unemployment benefits. So it's a huge tax. In addition, he now incurs other expenses associated with going to work. He's got to drive back and forth. That costs money. It's getting more expensive now with rising gas prices. Maybe he has to eat in a restaurant. That costs money. Maybe there's childcare. Maybe you need a babysitter. When you don't have a job, you don't have to pay somebody to watch your kids. You don't have to go to the dry cleaners as often. Maybe you don't have to shave every day. I mean, there are a lot of things that you don't have to do if you don't have a job. And of course, you get a lot more leisure. What's that worth? Especially in the summertime, it's a nice day. I mean, there's a lot to not having to work. And the fact that you can collect a paycheck at not worth, it makes it a much more enticing option. And of course, I know there are a lot of people, I've encountered them in my career, who are unemployed, but then they get jobs off the books. They don't want to get a job on the books because they'll have to lose their unemployment benefits. So they work under the table for cash so they can keep working, get a little income on the side that they're not getting taxed on, and then collect their unemployment benefits. These are the moral hazards. These are the consequences of just extending unemployment benefits continuously. And of course, I hate it when I hear these politicians say, well, but it helps the economy because the unemployed put the money right back into the economy because, of course, they spend it all. They don't save it. But this is actually nonsense. It doesn't help the economy. If it helped the economy, then double the benefits, triple the benefits. I mean, if borrowing money and giving it to consumers to spend help the economy, then why just give money to the unemployed? Give money to anybody. Let's really help the economy. The whole thing is nonsense. It hurts the economy. Unemployment benefits hurt the economy because we go deeper into debt to pay them. We are depriving businesses that might otherwise hire the unemployed of the capital necessary to do so. And we're enticing people into staying unemployed for a longer period of time than might otherwise have been the case if they didn't have all these benefits. You know what I would prefer, to be honest with you, is that unemployment benefits were given in one lump sum. That when you lost your job, you got your entire benefits right up front. That way, if you got a job quickly, it doesn't cost you any money. And I think a lot of people, certainly everybody wants to hold out for the dream job, the best job, but you know what? When times are tough, just take any job. At least you're productive. At least you're contributing. The fact is a lot of people are turning down jobs that they think are beneath them because they'd rather collect unemployment benefits and enjoy all the added leisure. Now, I don't blame them. I mentioned once I did the same thing myself. At one time in my life, I collected unemployment benefits. And, I wanted to exhaust them. I was living at home with my mom and, being able to hang out at the beach in California and collect unemployment checks, when I was in my early 20s, it seemed like a pretty good deal to me. And so I exhausted them. And then, of course, I went out and got a job. So I know that's happening and that's human nature. So we have to stop subsidizing that. And look at what's going on with government. I looked at a few statistics to look at the size of government. 100 years ago, right? Government spending, state, federal, and local. Well, I knew I should have unplugged my phone. Anyway, I'm just going to let it ring. But government taxes, state, federal, and local, only consumed 5% of our GDP. 5%. That was it. Everything. By the time the First World War came around, government spending was up to about 20% of GDP, or not quite, maybe 18%, I think, something like that. Now, government spending, state, federal, and local, is 43% of our GDP. It is, everything is ringing now. I don't know what that is. It's coming from the computer. So 43% of our GDP. Now, of course, the big problem is our GDP is now a bunch of fluff. Because 100 years ago, when the government only consumed 5% of GDP, it was real. We were making things. We were manufacturing. We didn't have trade deficits like we have today. Certainly, going into the Second World War. But now our GDP is 70% consumption. It's all services. It's all healthcare. It's all education. It's legal bills. I mean, all the goods are being imported. So, and one of the reasons why the GDP or is so contracted is because of the weight of government. That is the problem. Yet we continue to grow the government, and we don't understand why the economy is in such bad shape. If our politicians, if they keep passing more bills, growing government share of GDP, having government spend more and more money, they actually destroy the economy and undermine the GDP. And that's exactly what we're doing. I wish we would have some people in Congress who wouldn't simply, vote to extend unemployment benefits just because I know how well it plays, because the unemployed certainly vote for people who promise these benefits. But we have to look at the bigger picture and how this undermines our economy, undermines people's desire to work, but also undermines the ability of companies to hire them because the deficits are crowding out all the capital. Anyway, that's it for today. I think there was something else I wanted to talk about, but now I can't even remember what it was. Anyway, don't forget to tune in and watch me on Fast Money every Tuesday and Thursday on CNBC. Take care, everybody. So long.